Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sea Quantum Network. I'm your presenter, Daniel, and I'm here with producer Claudia Pureco. We are cosmic beings, beings of light. A moment of your time is one of the most extraordinary gifts we could ever be given. We are honored every time we've received a moment of your time. We are honored, privileged, and humbled. We serve in your presence. Our shows are held on Mondays and Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern U.S. Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. At any moment to participate on our shows, please call 805-830-8344 and press 1 to talk with the host. All podcasts are easily found in all social media and are available free, live, or on demand. To request a show, please write to Claudia Pureco at cview1111@gmail.com or visit our website, cview1111.net. Now, let's listen to our host and topic of the day.
Thank you, Danny, and welcome everybody to today's show. We are having the new show Seeking Divinity Gaining 2020 with Sati Chappelle. Sati is a professional psychic reader, clairvoyant, audient, clairsentient, spiritual teacher, full trance channel, past life expert, lecturer, counselor, manifester, and writer. Sati's spiritual guidance provides a pathway for listeners and callers to progress on all levels by adopting friendliness toward change, an optimistic vision of self, faith in the perfection of the universe plans, trust in Source's benevolence, commitment to justice and beauty, and more. To contact Sati outside of the show, you can go to her websites www.b as in Brian, M as in Mary, S progression.com, bmsprogression.com, or visit her new website, seekingdivinity.com. It is now under construction, but you can find contact information and some links of your interest in there. And now, let's bring Sati to the show. She's going to share some information, and we're going to take a caller, then share more information, then another caller, and so on. Hey, Sati, how are you?
I'm doing great, Miss Claudia. How are you guys today?
We're doing fantastic. So excited for this show, Sati. Thank you so much for bringing it to the waves and to humanity.
Thank you, honey. It's definitely my privilege. And, you know, I've had many radio shows in the past, and the thing that was kind of challenging with a lot of them was the fact that I didn't always sync up well with the people on the radio show, and no offense to them if they're listening, but, you know, some of them were just like regular folks just, you know, trying to put a bunch of rock and roll or whatever out there. And they didn't really always care about the spiritual aspect. And the thing that I really love about working with you in particular and the show that you present is the fact that you really do care. You really are here to help humanity move forward at this time, as are many of us on the planet who are in this spiritual field. So I'm definitely feeling privileged and honored to be here. So thank you so much.
Thank you for that as well.
We have tons of snow falling out here because I live in Colorado at the moment. So I'm looking out and seeing all white, and I hear that some places had some pretty rough weather yesterday. And, you know, I think that's kind of indicative of how this year is going to be in some ways. There's going to be these beautiful, peaceful times when the snow is falling and blanketing everything in this gorgeous, fresh energy and fresh beauty. You know, I don't know if a lot of you have seen the snowfall, because I know this goes out to many parts of the world and some that don't have snow. But when it falls, there's this amazing freshness. There's no dirt. There, you can't see any garbage. There's like nothing. It's just this beautiful, very, very quiet, white vista, I guess is how I want to say it. And everything looks fresh and new. And that's something I really adore about living out in Colorado. The snow does not stay on the ground. Like, for whatever crazy reason, January was a month of 50-degree weather. We had like literally 50-degree weather pretty much the entire month. So, you know, we had this beautiful Indian summer, and that happens here a lot, where you may have days or weeks of what they call Indian summer. And so things get to dry up, and, you know, then the snow comes again and blankets everything again. So the snow never turns dirty. It's always white and pristine and beautiful. I think that peace that comes from being able to see such a thing is very indicative of this year. We also here in this country have had some pretty rough weather over the last couple of days, tornadoes and storms and floods in various areas. And that's also indicative of what's coming in 2020. There are these times wherein it seems like the world is falling apart, like nothing's going to hold it together. This massive whirlwind is coming through and is just going to like erase whatever was. And I think it's human nature to want to hold on to things, to want to be attached to what has been because we know it. There are a lot of people out there that really live by the adage, rather be with the devil you know than the one you don't know. Well, no, you're still choosing to be with the devil. Let it go. You know, just because you know it doesn't necessarily make it right or make it comfortable or make it something that's good for you. So being non-attached this year, oh, that's going to be like a major benefit to every single person on the planet. In this 2020 year, when we are cultivating new vision, new ideas, new ways of living, when we're cultivating this ability to see clearly, which is 2020 vision, when we're cultivating this drawing nature, drawing of the truth towards us and drawing ourselves towards the truth. We have to do it with that sense of self-acceptance and that sense of acceptance of whatever comes. And both of those are really needed because it can be pretty scary to encounter the truth if you don't have a firm foundation in self, if you don't know who you are. So I would recommend to many people to start there. Sit down and really take time to look at yourself. Look at your tendencies, your patterns, your strengths, your weaknesses, again, without that attachment, without the need for things to be how you want them to be, just simply how they are. That's it. That is so liberating in a lot of ways. Yeah, it can be fearfully upsetting in the beginning. Sometimes we really want our dreams to be reality. But sometimes our dreams are not real for a reason. They're not meant to be. They're false. They don't support us. They support maybe something else or someone else. So by being able to stand true to what is real, to be able to observe it and to accept it is one of the first steps of creating 2020 vision, clear vision. And while I've been speaking about this from the standpoint of yourself, the person, the inner being, I also am asking that you extend it out into your world, out into reality. This is in every domain, every category of life, your work life, your romantic life, your life with your family, your life with your friends, your life with politics, your life with religion, your life with, all of those things that make you happy, vacations and parties and whatnot, and all of those things that don't make you happy. To stand in that sense of just accepting what is will allow you the clear vision, the 2020, the ability to see what actually is. And from that place, you have the ability to create freedom. Freedom from what has held you back, freedom from what you think you have to be, freedom from maybe serving others that are just taking and abusing you, freedom from the challenges of life. Because oftentimes the challenges of life really come from ourselves, come from that need to have things a certain way instead of seeing them and accepting as how they really are. And once you realize this simple truth, life can change exponentially for you and can change for the better. This is a vast secret that many of the ancient wisdom keepers of every tradition have known and have held for eons of time. And oftentimes as a human, we look at those people and we're like, well, why are they so dang happy? And I'm kind of sitting over here in the poop of life. Well, maybe that's because you think that poop of life is all that can be for you. Maybe your dreams are too small. Maybe they're inappropriate for who you really are. Maybe they keep you trapped, and you think they don't. So by being able to look clearly with this detachment of what it has to be, you see what it actually is, you see what you actually are, you see what the world actually is, you see what the moment actually holds, and you can actually stand up, to be redundant, actually. You can stand up and you can say, okay, I get it. And you can make a new choice, and that new choice leads you to the freedom, leads you to the peace within, leads you to greater happiness, and can change your reality and help you to become one of those people that others look up to for wisdom, for light, for truth. Can't shine the truth and the light and the wisdom if you don't accept it. It's really that simple. All right, lecture done for the day.
So that's my cue to let people know we're going to take one caller. So let's go to New York together and see what Catherine has to say.
Hi.
Hey, Miss Catherine. How are you, honey?
Hi, good, thank you. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you for asking. What can I do for you today?
I was listening to what you were saying about, not being attached this year. But I would like to see a project succeed that I have going on with a friend of mine. He is a Cancer. His name is Neil. And I was wondering if you see that project being successful.
Well, you know what? I love that you were listening. Thank you so much. And let me clarify really quick. Just because I'm saying, let go, it doesn't mean abandon things and run, right? There's that balance, right? That balance of holding on to what is true, what is real, and then, learning what is not and letting go of those things that are not. That's all. It's so that you don't pour your energy into things that are not going to work out. So you can use that energy for bigger and better projects, right? And things that really are going to work out. So, okay. You said that your friend's name is Neil? Okay, let me look.
Thank you so much.
Well, okay, so with Neil, it's going to be a little bit of struggle to get all of this off the ground. And he's going to have to put a lot of time and effort and energy into it, and more than he really thinks. Every so often, we have these people that come into our life that are a little bit unduly optimistic, and sometimes I think that Neil can be unduly optimistic and can say,
Yeah.
oh, I can do this, it'll be easy, we'll get it done, no worries, blah, 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 it's just going to happen, right? And I love that faith that he has. I love that willingness to be open to let everything fall into place. That's awesome. He needs to sustain that, that's for sure. But with regards to the situation, with regards to this particular project, it's going to be 6 months, maybe 8 months of what I'm going to call toil. And, toil is not necessarily a negative. We think of it that way because we're like, oh, we want it to come easily and gracefully, and we want it to just all be happy-dappy, and that's wonderful, and boy, that's so true, and I'm just as guilty of it as the rest of the planet. But sometimes there's real beauty in toil. Sometimes there's this revelation that comes from toil that cannot come from any other place. And boy, is that going to be the case with Neil in this project. He is going to learn immense amounts, and he's going to come out the other side like so excited. And in some ways, he's going to be more excited that he learned so much as opposed to whether it works out or not. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to work out. I actually believe it is going to work out because he's got that strength of will and that strength of faith, and because I think that this project really is needed in the world. But he's going to be so excited with all that he learns, he's going to come out feeling like a very wealthy man. And what a wonderful gift that is. So that can turn into real cold, hard cash, right? So I would say let him really make this year about this project and put in the blood, sweat, tears, soul, all this energy that he has for it, and it'll work out exactly how it's supposed to. And I believe that towards November, he's going to really see a lot of positive monetary return. But he's also going to see a lot of praise. And that is big because with this project, he needs that praise in order for it to move forward smoothly into 2021. And that's when he actually reaps what he sows, is really mainly in 2021. So he starts to see a turnaround. 6 months, 8 months, he goes, okay, this really is going to take off. By November, which is 11 months, 10 months from now, he's really starting to get some income from it. But it's 21 that's going to really be the year for him with this project. So tell him, nose to the grindstone, keep it up, and, keep up the faith.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, excellent. And you were so right, by the way. I am walking away from another project currently in order to devote my time fully to this one as well. Yeah, so that was spot on.
What great intuition on your part and going with the flow. And that's exactly what I was talking about before. You can't go with the flow if you don't see it, Well, great job, honey.
And thank you, Catherine.
Thank you both so much. Many blessings. Thank you.
Thank you, too. Happiness in New York. Enjoy the snow.
You too. So, do you want to take one other caller before we continue the conversation?
Sure.
Okay, so now let's go with Karen from North Carolina.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Miss Karen, how are you in North Carolina, my old state where I used to live? It's so pretty there.
Yeah, I'm great. I'm great. It's I was listening to the last statement. I actually turned in during her call, and it so resonated with me because of I think I caught it at the right time. Through toil is our greatest learning lessons, and I guess that's my question. I feel like I'm in line with being true to myself and honoring my boundaries with a situation here relating to a group of women that I had been associated with in my business and healing business and standing on my own, but there's still turmoil there, and it's like they don't want to let go. And I just wanted some insight on that. Maybe, does that feel right? Or is there something else for me to learn with that and to,
Well, you know what? It's interesting because this healing business has really been funky. It's kind of like up and it's down and it's here and it's there. And it's like trying to rein in a wild horse in some regards. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be far more smooth flowing. And I want to say a couple of things. It looks like there are 4 other women that you're involved in with this, or are you the 4th?
That I'm not sure. There's 2 main owners of the place, but they have a collective. They have a, other. Yeah, I guess there are. Now that I think about it, there's probably 4 other women or 2 others that are very closely intertwined.
Well, absolutely the 2, but I'm going to say there's 2 main and 2 sub players. Let's put it that way. So, if you think about it, that's 1 for each direction. Just to use it on a kind of representational scale, right? And they're not cohesive yet. They're kind of pulling in different directions. Now, were you to say that to them, they would be looking at you like you had a couple of heads. So they're not seeing that they are working in opposite ways. What I would recommend to you is to help them to come together and to pull together. The beautiful thing is that when people come together and they all work for a common goal, literally miracles can happen. And within the healing realm, that's what you really want sometimes, because sometimes what people are going through on a physical level defies, traditional, let's say, and other healing methods, and we have to go towards what is considered more miraculous. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you really want to help people, you guys all need to come together for common goals and common focuses. And I don't see things being so commonly focused. And if you guys really want to create success this year, which this is a wonderful year to create success, I would say you guys need to kind of have a couple of meetings and flesh this out, hash it out, really look at, is everybody on the same page? Because I'm going to guarantee you that is not the case. And you have one person in particular, one person of the 2 sub-people who's actually really pulling things in a very, very different direction. And that person can, because of their level of power, can really pull things off kilter. So I want you to, perhaps be open to maybe helping everybody to come to a common point so that you guys can all work together a little bit more cohesively. Otherwise, from the standpoint of just you alone, it feels like this also is kind of a launching year for you, in which this business is starting to take off. So, stay true to your vision of what you have already put into play, but be watchful for the signs from the universe that show you, hey, this aspect of the vision not going to quite work so easily, and go towards the path of least resistance so that you can launch this very solidly by May, June at the latest, so that it can carry you through the rest of the year. and carry you with that ease that you're looking for. You have a lot of good karma for doing this healing work, and I really want to see that come to fruition. I don't want to see things hold that back. So that's what I'm trying to help with here today. Does that make sense?
It does. It's if I'm hearing you correctly, I can offer my energy and my approach in a meeting, but ultimately it's up to them, right? And how that's taken to either join forces or go their separate ways, and then that will kind of determine, you know what I'm saying? Like that might be my separation from their path too, because I already know that I don't fit energetically with where they're at, and does that sound right? Like just follow my own path, try to help others in this situation to shed light on it, but ultimately is it up to them?
Okay, those are some great questions. So, looking at it, there is that one person that either needs to kind of like get with the program or jump ship. But the funny thing is that's not yet you. So that's the one that I was saying is kind of pulling things in a different direction of the 4 women. That's not you, right? So here's what I've got to say about you, sweetie. Karen, were you to leave at this point in time, the road would get very rough for you. And I don't want that for you. I want you to reap some of the fulfillment from the energy that you have already invested into this. And one of the things that I am seeing with a lot of people that are leaders, whether they're in a position of leadership or not, and yes, I'm speaking about you in this moment, is that we all kind of have to sit tight. We are all chomping at the bit. We're like the horses at the racetrack standing in front of the gate going, come on, ring the damn bell. Let's go. Let's go. And it's not time. We have to kind of let a few other things fall into place, a few other pieces fall into place first before we actually can leave, and leave with the universe's blessing behind us so that it's like, oh, thank God, and it really is a great thing. Instead of when we leave, we trip over our feet and over the feet of the other horses, and we all eat the dust, right? So don't leave yet.
Okay.
You leaving at this point in time is going to create a lot of chaos for you as well as for others. So you need to stay through March, and I'm meaning the end of March. And I would say, that's going to be hard because you're like really ready to go. So just keep a little bit longer. Let the universe put a few other things into play for you so that when you leave, you're not just hanging out there in the breeze waiting for something else to happen. Everything is set, ready to go. You move into the new with grace, with ability, and you reap what you have been sowing all of this time instead of flipping, having to start from scratch with all this new energy. You understand?
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to make sure that you get the monetary gain and the influential gain that you have coming so that your clients continue to grow. Does that make sense? So I don't want you to leave yet because it's...
Yeah, and I don't want to take up your time. I'll have to sit with that because in all honesty, I do resonate with that, but I have the clients in the path that I have so far have not actually come to fruition from that location. And so that's where it is, and I feel like they want me to continue to pay to serve them. Like they're at a scarcity mindset right now because people are leaving. And so I'll just sit with what you said and see where the universe kind of takes me now that I have that awareness. But, yeah, I understand not to just jump and bail to jump and bail and to see where that plays out if I'm hearing you correctly.
Yes, and some of those clients are on the fence. So were you to leave right now, you would leave without them.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But if you stay for a little longer, they come off of the fence and they go with you happily.
Yeah,
see?
I see.
Yeah. Be nice. Yeah. So glad for the clarification. I'm sorry I didn't make that clear to begin with. I apologize.
That's okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome,
Thank you for
darling.
calling.
Great. Have a great year, honey.
Thank you. Thanks.
So sometimes, Sati, if I understand well, sometimes when you are a light worker, your work is to create things, not always expecting to be there for the fruition. It's just the fundamentals or the basics that you are helping people to have, knowing that maybe you're not going to be part of that later on, which is, doesn't matter because it's on the fun of creating. Is that correct?
Well, I love that question, and it's very pertinent to what we were just speaking about. Yes, sometimes we are here just to do service. Maybe that's to satisfy some pending karma from the past. Maybe it's to kind of hone our skills a little bit more. Maybe it's to have revelations and lessons that we would not have gotten otherwise. And none of those speak of financial gain, you know? So yeah, sometimes we're here to serve, and it's hard to see the return. But in this year of 2020, I want people to kind of create that sense of balance. One of the things about the year 2020 from a numerological standpoint is that solid foundation, having that solid foundation, standing on the solid foundation, creating the solid foundation, being very clear with it, and coming from that place of balance, not necessarily serving too much with no return whatsoever and just being the martyr. No. And not serving too little to where it's all about me, and what I can get. There's got to be a balance of give and take. There's got to be that balance of I am just putting this out there so the universe can make use of it in the way that it best sees fit to do for the benefit of all. And I need to have some return. I need to be able to have enough return to make it all worth it also. That is actual balance, right? So great question. I hope that answers what you were speaking of.
Yes, it does. Yeah, sometimes how I see it is like sometimes I am starting to know new tools of some trades, and I need somewhere to practice. So having those opportunities to practice that great tool that you know in a setting which is totally you don't have anything to expect for that. It's like, okay, I'll try it here. Let's see how that works, and then you have it. You have your formula or something that you can replicate in the real business work, so to say.
Well, you know, you just brought up an extremely important point about this year 2020, and that is the word expect, right? The best thing I can tell people for the year 2020, don't expect nothing, people. Don't do anything from that sense of expectation. Do from that sense of, yes, let's see. Let's see. Do you understand? If this is a 2020 year in which we're creating clearer vision, what better mantra can we have but let's see, other than may I have the eyes to see? I mean, that one really works well too, right? But if you have expectations, you're not going to see anything but what you want and what you desire, which may not be what's going to serve you best. And we have to face it. We've come to a tipping point in our current reality, definitely within this country of the United States, but also globally, in which we need to start seeing the real. The only reason we need to start seeing the real is because we've kind of lived in la la land for a while, you know. We've kind of been wandering around going, oh, somebody else will take care of that problem. I mean, I think that at this point in time, we're all pretty aware that there's a lot of problems that need to be solved. There's a few of us that might still have the head in the sand about that, But the majority of us are like, yeah, we've got some issues, right? But we can no longer wait for somebody else to save us. This is not about having a savior, having a superhero, even though the movies would have us think otherwise. This is about becoming our own savior, which is interesting because a lot of the movies that are superhero based are touting that at this point in time. They're pointing out that average Joes are becoming superheroes and saving the day. And we have to become those saviors, those superheroes, and no longer wait for somebody else to pick up the flag. We've got to stand up and do what is right. Well, how are we going to know what that is? If we expect things to go a certain way, or we want things to go a certain way, or we have attachment to how we think things need to be, or what we think somebody else is going to do. You're not going to get very far. It's going to be just business as usual. And business as usual is not going to cut it anymore in this defining year. And, let me speak to that for 2 seconds, because it's not just that we're starting a brand new decade here with the 20s. It is also that we are at the start of the Chinese New Year. And what most people don't realize, here in the West, we have astrology, and it's a 12-month cycle. So, you go, oh, I'm a Leo, or I'm a Capricorn, or I personally am a Libra, or whatever, right? But the Chinese have a yearly 12 zodiacal program. So there's the year of the rat, and the year of the dog, and the year of the dragon, which I am a dragon. And so, we're starting a brand new 12-year cycle with the year of the rat from the concept of the Chinese. So here we have two sides of the globe saying, hey, we're starting fresh with a new decade, a new 12-year, 10-year period. So that's what's so important also about this 2020 year, is that what we set into motion this year is going to define the rest of the 20s. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I would really like to have a happy, successful, very delightful and engaging next decade. Not one in which things suck and we're like, oh my God, when are we going to get out of this decade? Because, it's really interesting. If we look at the teens, a lot of people said that. A lot of people were running around going, oh my God, when are the teens going to be done? For the love of God, have mercy, And so here we are. We don't want to repeat that. So we have to make some decisions in this tipping point year. And again, the only way we can do that is to stand in the light of truth.
True. So now is my clue to bring another caller. Are you ready for another caller?
Sure.
Okay, so let's go back to New York and let's bring Shimura to the show.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. If I say your name, Shimura, is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, yay. I like to say people's names well. How are you, honey?
Fine, how are you? The reason I call you, I got a tenant in my house. I'm going to leave the house. You think I'm going to rent it right away?
I don't know if I understood the last part. You have a tenant in your house, and I'm sorry, could you repeat yourself, please?
Yes, they're going to live in the house. I wanted to rent. I wanted to rent. You think I'm going to rent it right away?
I see. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, too.
Well, here's the thing. So in this month of February, you do have a young person that comes to you. wanting to rent. And this person is going to be, you know, kind of a college age student slash person that works part-time. They're not going to have a whole lot of cash. And your question is going to be, do you want to rent to that person? Or do you need to have more money? If it really is a case of being able to have more money, then you're going to need to wait until more like the 3rd or 4th week of March, meaning that you will not see rent until April. And that person that will come will have a greater ability to pay the rent that you want. But this young person is not. This young person is going to be recommended to you by somebody who knows both of you and will send that person to you. And this young person does need a helping hand. So it's really going to be a matter of choice as to whether you feel you can help that person and take a little bit less rent, or whether you really need to have the full amount.
No, the person that they live, they stay, they're not even in payment this month. I'm not going to get somebody else to do the same thing, you know. I'll wait never for somebody else to good finish the month and give me the money, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, you know, if it, you know, both of these people, the person that comes in the 3rd week of February and the person that comes in the 3rd or 4th week of March, both of them would be able to be there for a good long time. Definitely till the end of the year, probably until, you know, the middle of next year. So they'd be long term. But it's just a question of whether you need the exact amount of money that you think you need or not. Both of them will be good tenants. So, you know, I mean, it could be a win-win. You're just going to have to decide whether money is really what you need at this moment in time. That's going to be your defining answer. Okay? Anything else with that?
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You're welcome, sweetheart. Thank you.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Shimuria. Okay, so, yeah, let's go to Florida, and let's bring Julia to the show.
Hello, Julia.
Hello. Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Oh, you're so welcome. Is it nice and warm where you are?
It is.
Yeah, well,
yesterday was even warmer than today.
Oh, my goodness. I figured it had to be warm. I'm looking out at snow, so that's why I'm asking. I'm like, yay, warm. What can I do for you today, Julia?
Well, I'm calling to see what you pick up around me. I need to get myself back out into the working force, and I have been away for quite a long time, so my skill set and my employment history is not the best, but I'm mid-50s, so I would really like to get into something that feels fulfilling and enjoyable. So I wanted to see if you pick up anything around any potential opportunities coming my way.
Let me ask you one question first. Do you have like a idea of, if I could have what I wanted, I'd really like to do X? Do you know what X is? In other words,
not
do you have an idea?
I've done kind of like clerical stuff in the past, and I enjoy that, and I enjoy helping people. So, you know, I know, you know, because it's so hot here, I know I definitely want to work inside. It's just, you know, it's too hot to work outside. So, you know, something in an office environment, or, you know, maybe something where I could like go to different places, or, you know, I don't know, a little bit of flexibility, I guess, but I don't know other than just, you know, office type environment.
All right. So I'm going to say two things here. First off, you're kind of playing it safe. The reason I say that is you're going with what you know. And that was kind of the point of me asking the question, is where are you at? Are you in a place of in yourself? And are you in a place of, wanting to try something new, or are you in a place of wanting to kind of play it safe? And, I understand that you have needs on a financial level that have recently come up in which you're wanting to kind of play it a little more safe and not rock the boat too much. On the other hand, I see you torn and wanting to try something new. So that's why I was asking which one you were leaning towards, and what you answered to me is that you are not leaning. You're still on the fence, so that's all good. Not a problem.
Yeah.
So let's look at this for just a moment. You could definitely get into the clerical work again. And it's interesting because I don't easily say to somebody who has been off of a payroll for a while that it's easy to find a job. And the reason I say that is because so many people are looking for jobs, and employers these days are really interested in that steady worker as opposed to somebody who may have been off of a payroll for a while or not working for a while. So there is that. But I do see that, you could obtain a job by the end of March, early April. Now, this is like the last 2 weeks of March or the first week of April at the latest. And, it would be what you are used to doing. And I'm going to say to you that's going to be fairly easy. And to be honest with you, considering that we're in, coming into the second week of February, that's pretty darn fast in today's society, to get a job and to feel like, okay, this is good, I can breathe. But what I really want to say to you, Miss Julia, is there is a need in your being to do something different. So let's find the balance, because I already said this year is a year of creating significant balance at that foundational level. Go looking for the clerical job, definitely, and take it when it comes along. There's like a law firm or a paralegal type of law firm or something along those lines where the law is involved, in which you would be able to procure a job. And that's the one I'm speaking about at the turn of the month from February to March. That being said, you come into the summertime. Start looking while you're at this first job that you've gotten. Start looking for something else that might make your heart sing, that might really make you feel excited. It's not about obtaining that job so much as it is looking and really coming to a clear place in your heart and your mind for what you would like and what you want to do. Not always in life do we have to do, like toe the line and do what is expected. Sometimes we get to step out and do something completely new and expand and grow with that newness. And that's something that I see coming for you. Now, I have to be clear on this point because I don't see it coming for you in the year 2020. It's about discovery. It's about going out and trying to find what that is and, gathering the courage and the resources and the ability to go for it. So you get to go for it in 2021, which is great because by then you'll have a year of being back in the workforce under your belt, and potential employers will like that. So that's good. You'll like the law office that you'll work at. You just will want to kind of expand yourself. And it might start off as a part-time thing in the beginning, and that's okay. Go with what path opens up before you. And, take the opportunity this year to become clear on what would really make you happy. It's been a while since you've been happy, sweetheart. I'd like to see you experience greater happiness.
Yeah, you're right. I was just asking myself today, is it ever, am I ever going to really feel happy again or have happiness and joy in my life? So you hit right on the hit the nail on the head, as they say. So yeah.
Well,
Yes.
sometimes when that nail is a sore thumb, it's easy to hit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes,
I'm
it
really
is.
sorry. I'm really sorry that this last year has been so rough for you, and I admire your courage and your strength to have seen it through. This is actually kind of a nice way to have courage, to figure out what's going to make you happy. But it is going to require some courage, because your family would say to you, what are you doing? No, go with the safe and the narrow. Don't go for what's going to make you happy, right? And that's okay. You can do both, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's about searching and finding. So go out there and find, my friend, and really start to look at how you can enjoy life more, because it's time.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for that. I really, yes, you're right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Julia.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you so
darling.
much for
Good
taking
luck.
my call. Thank you.
Good luck.
So, Sati, so gaining 2020 clarity in this year, you said it is a lot about finally creating the freedom that we need. Can you expand a little bit with that?
Well, that was definitely for some of the callers that we've had today. So I agree wholeheartedly. It may not be for everybody. And that's the thing about this 2020 year. I had mentioned to one of our callers that those of us kind of on the front edge of this new wave of change are wanting, like we're chomping at the bit and we're wanting to get going already. Let's get started, and we have to wait. There's a lot of people that are not on that front wave that are needing to wait even longer, and they're not yet going to be able to move forward into greater freedom. All of that to be said, this is the year of the rat according to the Chinese astrology. And since it is starting a brand new zodiacal cycle of 12 years, I'd like to chat about that for just a second with relation to your question. Rats are industrious creatures. They're actually far more smart than we give them credit for. And this is the year of the metal rat, which is actually the gold rat, which is one of the more auspicious rats that are out there. You have wood rats and water rats and earth rats, and there's always that, like earth dragons and wood dragons and metal dragons. And I mean, in the Chinese zodiac, it depends on what year it is as to which element is going to kind of shift the zodiacal energy in a given direction. And when it's a gold rat year, you're looking at people creating freedom on a financial level. You're looking at people creating freedom in a career way. You're looking at people really starting to not just pick up their tools, but use them. Those that are still in the process of picking up their tools, they're not really able to use them yet. They're still going, tool, do I have a tool? Is there another tool? Where is the tool? What is the tool? You know, they're still trying to figure it out. They're still trying to put it all together and understand what the tools are for. So when I look at a 2020 year and gaining clarity for this year on both an individual and global scale, so that we can be more free and we can experience greater happiness, we have to look at the tools that we have around us already and notice what it is that we're putting in our toolboxes. And that's something a gold rat is really good at doing. They're industrious, they're opportunistic. So they're looking at what they have, what they already do, what they do well, what skill set they already possess. They're looking at their strengths. But they're also understanding their weaknesses, and they're choosing strength instead. And that's what's really important. As they gather in their new tools and they start to understand them, They are turning all of these weaknesses into strengths. It's so interesting because most of us in the world don't understand that our greatest weakness is indeed also the polarity of that, the greatest strength. And this 2020 year is also dealing with polarity and duality at this foundational level. So we need to look at our greatest weakness, stare it in the face, and go, okay, that's what you are. Name it. Own it. And discover its gift. Because every single weakness has a gift. Every single one has a gift. And those blessings of that gift is what can take those things that are most painful to us and make them the things that help us to stand so truthfully, so solidly in our own light. This is what changes the vibrational frequency of not just ourselves, but of the country we live in, the state, the city, the world. Ignoring these weaknesses, they don't go away. And that's what we learned in the teens, is that ignoring our weaknesses, they don't go away. They just get bigger and bigger and louder and stinkier until such time as we go, okay, we can't ignore you anymore. But why wait till that time? Why wait till they smell so terribly that we're like, eyes are watering and we're dying, Get it before it gets to that point. Get it before everything becomes a complete mess. Look at the blessing that the weakness holds, because I swear to you, it's there. That's how we can gain greater freedom. And remember, the rat is not afraid of work. The rat is like, okay, let's do this. And it's ready to go. Do you think that answers your question? I know I kind of went around a couple of blocks. Not just one block.
It does. It does. Thank you. There's so much to think about, and I'm so glad we can replay this and we can just hear it again. And because everything that you had mentioned during today's episode, it has a truth within the truth that we need to release and apply it and find it where it resonates inside of us.
Oh, you're so sweet, and thank you so much. And to be funny, I'll say that's the truth.
So I love it like always. So remember, everybody, this is the first Friday of the month. So Sati is going to be here the first Friday of every month with her show Seeking Divinity, and in each episode until she decides not to, she's going to share some of the information for the 2020 this year, what is important this decade, so you don't want to miss it, because every one of those episodes are going to be filled with wisdom. And also bring us your own wisdom. If you have something to share about the 2020 and you are thinking of where can I call the show and share it with Sati, and she can help you clarify or see where it fits and so on.
Absolutely. And you know what? That is such a great idea, because I'm not the only one in the world that holds any kind of wisdom, or even in its smallest portion or its greatest portion. Everybody does in a small or great portion. And it's all of those combined that's going to make this a great year and a great decade. That is just a fabulous idea, Miss Claudia. I love you.
Thank you, and I love you too. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Sati.
Thank you so much. And to all of the listeners out there on today's show, and on those of you that come and listen after today, just be blessed. Be blessed. Allow the blessing of your strength.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Allow the blessings of your Is it done?
Yes.
Oh, dang. I was going to say, let the blessings
No.
of the strength and
You can continue talking.
Okay.
I'm
fun,
so
guys?
sorry for that.
No. Let the blessings of the strengths and the weaknesses that you hold inside, let them carry you forward, because I'll tell you, this is a year of blessing. Let it be so. Thanks so much for calling. Thank you, Miss Claudia, for hosting me, and I look forward to our call next time.
Thank you. And everybody, remember, if you want to contact Sati outside of the show, she has beautiful sessions that you can do one-on-one with her and much more. Look for her at www.bmsprogression.com or www.seekingdivinity.com. And thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.